At this point, what's holding us back from saying something very irrational on today's Locked On Warriors? What a huge win in LA. We're breaking it down. A big time game from Pods, defensive effort from Draymond Green and Steph Curry. He's pretty good. On today's show.
Who cares now? Because I'm here. And I would like to think that I am wanted here.
Most importantly, he a dog.
We got 4 championships.
You are Locked On Warriors.
I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
Your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Speculation is just what it is, man.
Your team every day.
That game took a lot out of me. The end where the Lakers are hitting everything. They're stealing Warriors balls in the backcourt. Had a chance to get a little bit ugly. But the Warriors do hang on 123-116. They take down the LA Lakers. They're within one game of LA in the standings. We are breaking down all things Golden State Warriors on today's Locked On Dubs. We do have a free daily newsletter. It's sent to you at lockedondaily.com, and we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're on YouTube. We go live after the games. You can also check us out wherever you get your audio podcasts. My name's Charlie Walter, formerly at 95.7 The Game in the Bay Area, also CBS News Bay Area, a co-host on today's show. It's Matt Kolsky, formerly at 95.7 The Game in the Bay Area, and also worked for KNBR, and you can still hear him for KNBR from time to time. I always talk about the lasting images and the things from games that are going to be burnt into my mind, and there were just so many down the stretch of this game that I can point to, whether it was Draymond Green with a strip late in the game, just like his 9th awesome defensive play on the game, a lot of it on LeBron James, and he's going nuts, or whether it was Steph Curry hitting big shots down the stretch, circus shots early in the game. Pods had himself a big moment, big moments, many of them. Let's break this thing down, Kolsky, piece by piece, and let's start with the fact that the Warriors were able to withstand every single storm that the Lakers threw at them. Until the very final whistle, they answered the bell. They went into this game with a loss. They would have been all the way down to 8th in the standings. Now they're a game back of 4th. This was a massive game and one that the Warriors came to play and held on, to say the least. They held on. Whew.
Yeah, what a night, man. What a fun game of basketball. That was an absolute delight. And, I try to say it every time, but just appreciate these LeBron and Steph matchups while you're still getting them at such a high level. I mean, wow. Both of them were spectacular tonight. And the difference really was the rest of the Warriors, Brandin Podziemski leading the way, obviously, but Moody had big moments. Jonathan Kuminga had big moments. I mean, Draymond's defense continues to be exceptional. I saw somebody posting earlier about Defensive Player of the Year, and don't underestimate the effect that a big defensive night on a big nationally televised game with Reggie Miller saying, just give him the award, just give it to him already, like that has an effect on voters. So, I think we talked about he's now the favorite, and I think he's in the driver's seat for that, provided things go reasonably well the rest of the way. Also in the chat, a few people have mentioned the lack of Anthony Davis really changes things for how the Warriors are able to attack the Lakers, and that allowed them to get into the paint tonight. It got Steph to the line over and over again, and I think once they get that going, then the threes fall a little easier. And like you said, like low turnover game, answered every Lakers run, a little shaky at the end, but you'll live with it. And really tremendous defense throughout by a variety of people on Luka Doncic. I'm not hearing you, Chuck, and I don't know if that's just me not hearing you or if that's...
That hasn't been this entire show, has it?
No, just now.
I was going to say, welcome, everyone, to Locked On Warriors, if that's the case. Now, the mute monster got me. I was going to say that Anthony Davis, though, I didn't even think about that as the game's going on. I'm like, the Warriors look like a great matchup for the Lakers. If you saw them 5-4 all of a sudden, I don't hate the prospects of that going down. I don't hate it. I don't hate it after seeing them without Anthony Davis. Still really good, but I do think that you match up pretty well. Granted, it took a unconscious effort from Brandin Podziemski. It took an all-world defensive performance from Draymond Green, which you brought up before the game, I was going to say. You said yesterday, I think Draymond's going to come out with something to prove. He knows what's at stake here. And you were right.
He was so awesome tonight. I mean, you look at the box score and you wouldn't know it. Butler, too, for that matter. Neither of them had big box score games. They both were monsters out there. And look, the Lakers are really good. You know, the Warriors played pretty well front to back in this game. Lakers hung with them in the first quarter and then nearly pushed this thing to a really tense place in the late minutes. But and there will be nights where you'll do exactly the same thing and Luka will score 35 on you, you know? So you don't love very many of the playoff matchups. Like if you could somehow match up with Memphis in the first round, that would be great. But otherwise it's pretty tough out there. But you're right. Like if it's the Lakers or Denver, I think you take your chances with LeBron and Luka.
I'm worried about Reeves, man. I mean, you know what you're
tough.
going to get from Luka, but Reeves has been killing the Warriors all year.
He
And
is
Luka
tough.
early, man, he was going for that foul. He was baiting, and the refs were not buying it. And when Luka is not getting the call, his game's just so funny to watch, man.
He is a confounding and fascinating player. But he's also, you know, look, tonight,
When he's in rhythm, he's incredible.
he was 19, 8, and 7 with 1 turnover tonight. He actually played a few possessions of what I would call spirited, if not excellent defense. And like that was not a good game. So that guy's terrifying. He's terrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Warriors match up reasonably well with this version of the Lakers, you know, and it's not for nothing that they've beaten both of the Lakers' stars en route to championships in the past.
That they have. The young nucleus. Brandin Podziemski, 28 on 10 of 17, 8 of 10 from 3, including a half quarter going into the locker room, a little in front of half court, but a little 35-foot runner, banks it in. Okay, that was the 6th he had in the first half. So 28 for him, 13 from Moses Moody. He had his moments. He's been really good defensively as of late. I think there's a reason Steve Kerr went from playing him 14 minutes to 35 in the last game and 29 today. He's really starting to trust what Moody brings to the table. And then Kuminga, I thought he was really good. I look at the rebounds, 9 of them. I look at the assists, 4 of them. I look at 0 turnovers. I mean, you don't love Kuminga taking threes, but they were all within the flow of the offense. They were good looks. He hit one of them. He had 18. He was a +9. Those three guys win you the game. Like, that's your difference. Curry was the star of the show with 37, 13 of 14 from the line. He was getting there. He was foul baiting hard on that 3 for a stretch and got to the line a couple of them, I think. At least one trip. I thought it was 2.
JK tonight, he came in that first quarter, and in 7 minutes, he had 6 points and 4 boards. And it was the rebounds that probably stood out more than the points. He was perfect tonight. I mean, if that is the Kuminga you get, look, we're not going to talk about his minutes anymore because it's a tired subject at this point, and it is what it is. But if he's going to give you positive contributions, crashing the boards, playing great one-on-one defense, which, look, he gets lost out there defensively sometimes, off the ball especially, but when he buckles down, he's as good a one-on-one defender as they have on this team, and he showed you that tonight on Luka. Attack the rim, rebound the ball, play defense, and you're good. That as somebody in the chat just said, that is the Jonathan Kuminga you need.
Today was the Brandin Podziemski we need. I'll take a little golf clap. I've been waiting for this. Yeah, baby, this is what I've been waiting for. It's the scene from Zoolander when he goes with Blue Steel. We're gonna talk basketball, not old comedy flicks. Coming up on Locked On Warriors.
Forget that. We champs. Why you starting with that question? We got 4 championships.
All right, today's money is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. I'm going to be honest with you. I could use some 5 Hour Energy right about now. So let me tell you about it in case you don't know. Daylight savings. It snuck up on us again. And if you are feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means there's more time for fun. And 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. I've been staying up late, doing these shows, watching the tournament, and it helps you get up next day. Also, with longer days, you could get outside, do some things outdoors, extracurricular, and, pop out a little tropical burst on your hike. It'll help you out, and it's convenient, it's on the go, and it keeps you feeling refreshed. It has over 15 flavors, and you can find it on 5hourenergy.com. Get yourself a watermelon, blue raspberry, peach mango, 12 or 24 packs that you can build, and they're delivered right to your door. Need one now? Go get a 5 Hour Energy shot. Stock up today and stay energized. Let's get back to the show.
Who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
Brandin Podziemski, man, he was excellent. He had everything working. The only thing I didn't see today was correct me if I'm wrong, is the Pinot step? We didn't see a ton of the Pinot step today. But aside from
whatever we're calling that thing, yeah.
That move is awesome. The fact that he's able to keep that foot down. Anyways, I digress. The three ball.
Yeah, it was all from three, really. But
he did have a float game. And I mean, his threes, though, they were off the dribble. They were quick, in rhythm, step back. He had the full bag of 3-point shots today. And it goes back to the preseason, man, when Steve Kerr said 8 to 10 threes is what we want from Podziemski. And we laughed and we said, that's ridiculous. Tonight, I mean, it's not a recipe for success typically, but it shows you that he at least has it in his bag.
When he's feeling it, he should keep shooting. And tonight was one of those nights for him, and he's had a couple of them lately. It's also the 8 rebounds and 6 assists that you get from him.
You're always getting that, though, you know?
Yeah, but that stuff matters so much at this point. I mean, as much value as you have gotten out of guys like Guy Santos and Quentin Post and even Buddy Hield over the course of the season, I think you are starting to see the thing that I've tried to tell people all season long, which is that when it's really, I don't think I should use the phrase I was going to use, but when it's really that time, those guys, they're not quite good enough. In Post's case, maybe it's yet, okay? In Guy's case, like, God bless him, he just doesn't have the talent. The top 6 on this team is what really matters. And right now, without GP2, with GP2, it's 7. Without GP2, that starting 5 and Jonathan Kuminga, and you saw Kuminga was in the closing lineup tonight instead of Moody. And I think that's going to vary night to night, depending on who's got it going. But that 6 is what's going to matter. And if you get largely good performances out of that 6, you've got a really good chance to beat any team in this league. Full stop.
Full stop. Buddy Hield has been stopped being played as much as of late. 13 minutes in the game today. He was getting 30 for a large portion of the season. And it seems like as of late, he's been exactly what we thought he would be. And that is when he's hot, you play him. When he's not, you give him 3-point attempts, he misses them all, and you kind of sit him down and you say, all right, it's time for Moody, Podziemski, Kuminga, and our top 6 to cook. I mean, Steve Kerr's gotten a lot of fingers pointed to him for rotations and why he's playing certain players at certain moments. Guilty. There was a moment today where Jimmy Butler had to go to the locker room and he had to get creative, right? He was Butler's getting checked out. He was good to go, came back to the game. But during that moment, he had to get creative with some lineups, but he wasn't playing acute, man. This is a must-win game, and he went 34 minutes for Draymond, 36 minutes for Butler, 34 minutes for Curry, 29 for Moody, 36 for Podziemski, 25 for Kuminga, and then sprinkle in some for Post, Buddy, and Gee. That was really it, and 8 for Looney.
Yeah, Kavan got his standard 8 to 9 minutes. And look, he continues to be solid whenever he's out there. People in the chat complaining about Buddy are justified, but as much as he can be a liability, I think this is the strategy, right? You take a quick look. He's 0 for 3. He's running around like a chicken with his head cut off tonight. Boom, take him out, 12 minutes, donezo. If he goes 3 for 3, maybe he gets 18 or 20 minutes, and look, we don't need the stat in front of us. We know how good they've been when he gets that 18-point mark. So, I think that's the right role for Buddy Hield. Too often this year, he's been asked to do more than that. And now that he's in that 9th man role, play him if he's hot. Otherwise, he can sit. That's where he belongs.
Jimmy Butler today. What'd you think? Here's what I've noticed about Butler, and it really started sticking out to me when Draymond said in his press conference or in a media availability that the best offense when there's 5 seconds to go is just look for Jimmy Butler. I believe it was Draymond that said it. Look for Jimmy Butler, get him the basketball, in one way or the other, he's going to make the right play. And there were multiple times I noticed him making a difference. There was one where Podziemski had an awesome pass with like 2 left on the shot clock, squeezed it in between a defender, and Butler laid it right up and in. And then there was another one where Post with 4 on the shot clock went, oh no, there's 4 on the shot clock. I have it top of the key. What do I do here? Oh yeah, remember when Draymond said, just look for Jimmy? Finds Jimmy in the corner. What does Jimmy do? 1 on the shot clock, just bangs in a corner 3. There's something calming about having Jimmy Butler out there. Again, 11, 4, 2, not a huge night from him in that sense, but defensively, I mean, he's everywhere. There was a moment in the first half where like 3 straight possessions, he got a hand on every single, it doesn't go in the stat sheet as anything. It's just a loose ball, but he gets his hand on it. And next thing you know, Podziemski has it and it leads to 3.
Yeah. I mean, there were, what did they give him? They gave him 3 steals. There were a couple of those that were huge. The funny thing about the 11 points, right, is he's 4 for 7 from the field, right? He was over 50%. Only went to the line, twice? Yeah, twice. And it felt like all 4 of those were the sort of bucket you just mentioned, right? Where it's like, oh God, Jimmy, help. And I will say, like, as frustrating as his apparent desire not to score has been at times, he does still seem capable of getting the superstar bucket, even when he's not having a superstar night. And I just know when Steph Curry's on the bench and he's watching these possessions that 2 months ago were literal shot clock violations, and instead it's Jimmy Butler scoring, he's just got to like feel so warm in his heart that that it's not like hopeless when he's not out there and things go a little screwy, right? It's just, you're right. It's like a security blanket. And it's a sort of security blanket at a level he hasn't had since Kevin Durant. It's a pretty special thing what Jimmy Butler has brought to this team. And I think if you weren't watching, you would say, well, there's plenty of guys in the league. Hell, Andrew Wiggins could have given him the stats that Butler is giving them. But there's maybe 5 guys in the league, 10 at the most, who could give them the lift Butler's given them as a team. It's a special thing to watch, and it is the sort of stuff that makes you feel like anything is possible, Shout out Kevin Garnett.
And not Tatum, right?
Did he say that too? There's only one for me.
Maybe not the exact words, but in the exact cadence, because they say he copies everything, right? He had the Kanye, I guess we'll never know. And I'm like, oh no. Anyways, we'll always remember 21-22, and maybe we get a rematch, man, because I think the Celtics are rolling right now in the East. That could be their conference this year. We'll see. So many lasting moments. The Kevin Harlan calls at the end of the game, if you were watching on TNT, incredible, man. Incredible. There were like 5 straight where it capped off with, I think, Podziemski Lakers, Warriors just go back to back, hit 5 threes in a row, most of them deep ones, 3-4 feet from beyond the line in a 45-second span. Just guy. I mean, it was shout out Harlan, who was on the program a couple weeks back. We had Draymond screaming. Like I said, Curry getting hot late. That was just kind of the recap that I'd written down. That started with the Warriors role players and finished with them just holding off the Lakers by that much. Going up 16 early, it would go down to 9, back up to 11, down to 6, up to 13. Warriors just kind of answered the bell, as we said. Steph Curry has answered the bell for a long time, many years before Jimmy Butler ever got here, but his game's been taken to just ridiculous heights. Wait until you hear the stats. Let's talk about Curry's epic performances, plural, coming up on Locked on Dubs.
Destroy Jimmy and Domino's. I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
Let's talk about America's #1 sportsbook. That is FanDuel. The NCAA tournament is down to the Final Four, and you have a chance to get in on the action. New customers, you can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from the buzzer beaters to, I guess there's no Cinderella stories in this year's Final Four, but to put a futures in on who's cutting down the nets. Houston, we're still alive. I told you. Visit FanDuel.com. Get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. It's our title sponsor. So right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. We are also brought to you by WayFair. You don't know WayFair? Well, you know that spring is here, and that means it's home project season. Whether you're refreshing a room or tackling a full renovation, Wayfair is the best kept secret for all your home improvement. From small updates like stylish cabinets to major upgrades like new vanities, skins, or outdoor lighting, Wayfair has quality products for every budget. If you need to update your kitchen, your bathroom, your living space, the selection's incredible. They have free and fast shipping that makes it easy, and there's no hauling heavy items from the store. They have top brands at great prices. Shopping is seamless. You'll find the style that you need, and it is easy. Get started now at wayfair.com. That's wayfair.com, WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Back to the show.
And most importantly, he a dog.
We need more dogs.
Steph Curry, man. What can we say about him other than he's so damn good? 37 points, 6 assists. This comes off the heels of a 52-point performance. He's had 50 multiple times since the Butler trade. He's scoring more than 30 seemingly every night. A bad game for him in the points column is 23. We talked about how earlier he had some games where he did really nothing. I mean, there was one where he had not a field goal in the entire game. There was another where, there were a few lowlights and records that he did not want, or achievements. I don't even know what the right word is, Kolsky. Things that he did not want that were attached to him with the way that he was playing at one point. And it wasn't like it was all bad. It was just inconsistent, right? We never got 4 straight good games of Steph Curry. It was a few here, then it was a dud, a few here, a dud. I don't know if it's rejuvenation. I don't know if he's just feeling it right now. That's for someone to ask him, but it's changed, man. Whatever has gotten into him is changed. He looks young again. And he's doing this with the pelvic contusion. He felt it again today when he fell.
Yeah, it'd be nice if he stops falling on his butt.
He played better after that, though, honestly. Like, that's when he started heating up.
I'm going to watch carefully the injury report heading into tomorrow. There's enough banged up guys on this team that I wouldn't be shocked to see a lineup tomorrow that's a little light on star power. It's just such a tough ask coming home from this 2-week road trip, I believe it was, and back a night of a back-to-back after, the physical and emotional energy you just expended playing in LA at the Lakers to finish this road trip. You went 4-2 on the trip. It was huge. Look, on one hand, you can't afford a lost game. On the other hand, you certainly can't afford any issues with any of that top 6. Like, no more injuries. You can't have it. So It's going to be interesting. Todd on the chat saying Denver can get got, and it's probably true. But it's dangerous. I wouldn't be shocked if Steph Curry sits tomorrow night. Brace yourself. It's possible. After what he's done the last 2 games, they could still win that game, by the way, even if Steph Curry does sit, if everybody else plays. Although I guess, man, that rotation's getting short, and it's even shorter without Steph. Either way, you're feeling so good about where you're at. That was a real measuring stick game, and even though there was like a furious comeback by the Lakers down the
They
stretch,
controlled it.
yeah, they really controlled the
They
whole
controlled
game.
it, start to finish.
They were up double digits for most of it, and you expect the rally, but even that never got closer than, I think, 6-5. So, boy,
Team
this
effort.
team they're playing great right now. This is exactly what you want to see from them on a night like tonight.
And it was so doom and gloom, man. I was saying just a week ago, 9 days ago, when I was on that plane, you were doing the Heat game. How bad did it seem after that Heat game? And we didn't take something into account, or I guess we did, but it still scared us. And that was Curry was out for those couple of games. Since him and Butler have been together, I mean, someone's got to give me the statistic in the chat. What is it? 21-2?
I think it's 19-2 now when they both
19-2 when they both play.
Yeah.
I mean, the tail is in the tapioca. The proof is in the pudding, Kolsky. We say this over and over. At a certain point, why not believe? It's more fun that way, A, and B. I mean, Green Hornet's going to hop in the chat and say, all you guys do is beat trash teams. 19-2. Look, you've beaten the Bucks in this stretch. You've beaten the Lakers now in this stretch. You've beaten the Grizzlies in this stretch. Go through the 19 that they've won with Curry and Butler on the floor, and it's not all bad, man. They've been battle tested. They're going into the playoffs hot. They're going into the playoffs. I'm not even going to say it, but you know what I mean with all the knocking on wood. They are hopefully going into the playoffs with that as well. It's a good time to be a Golden State Warriors fan right now. The pendulum swings quickly because 9 days ago it did seem pretty grim with the way they were playing. Mute monster, gotcha.
To your point, Steph is phenomenal. It is. Before tonight, so it'll be even better. But over the last 23 games that he has played, which goes back to a little bit before Butler arrived, I believe. He first of all, they're 18-5. He is 28 points, 46% from the field, 40 from 3, 92 from the line, 6 assists, 4 rebounds a game, and just, what can you say about him that hasn't been said? But he continues to astonish you. At 37 years old, really only one guy. I don't know about Kareem, but Kareem had faded a lot by this age. Really only one guy, and he's the other guy tonight, has maintained the level.
And he was awesome.
He's doing it at 40. God knows. But hey, given how good Steph is at 37, the path of LeBron gives you hope that Steph can keep doing this for a couple more years, man. And whatever happens this year, being set to build around a trio you're rolling with for a couple seasons with Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, like there is something here. It is pretty exciting. And I've been saying it for months, certainly since the trade. If they're healthy, I'm not writing anything off. Yeah. Nothing is off the table for me if this team is healthy.
It's been an inconsistent season, though. And granted, this is like the second. It's the second season, right? It's a completely different team than it was when you were running out Kyle Anderson, Lindy Waters, Andrew Wiggins, and that sort of lineup. It's completely different. But it has been a very rocky season. I mean, it's
no
been
doubt.
turbulent, to say the least. So much so to where I just found these. The rose-colored glasses were broken early. These were broken early, but we could get the rose-colored glasses back out. We'll have to get them for hopefully a playoff run, and no such thing is a play in this season because the league keeps on winning, like I said, but so do the Warriors.
Did we lose Chuck? I think we might have lost Chuck right in the closing moments of the show. All right, everybody. Well, I think it's Chuck and not me that's gone. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is say we appreciate you for tuning in. We appreciate getting to watch LeBron and Steph go at it still at the ripe old age of a combined 77. And who knows, maybe we'll see it again in the playoffs. I wouldn't mind that at all. Big game tomorrow night. We'll see who's on the court for it. Warriors and Nuggets. Will someone be back to do a post-game show? I guess it depends on what just happened with Chuck's computer. Let's all just thoughts and prayers to Chuck, wherever he is. Thank you for watching Locked On Warriors. Somebody will talk to you real soon. Good night, everybody.